NRL Fantasy Buy, Hold, Sell, the final edition. We're into round 27 here. Oh, mate, what a season it has been. We've got a bunch to cover today, guys. A lot of you need outside backs. I think 70% of top coaches don't have trades left, but if you're here, you've either got trades or you like us a lot. Biz, mate, how you feeling this week?
Mate, can't believe another season has come and gone. It feels like just yesterday we started recording for the week with the Vegas round. Look, it's been a great season, starting from so many things happening with, Zach Hosking and stuff going big in the first game to being rested after a minor premiership this week. Look, it's been a great season recording the Casual Athlete with you, mate. I'm glad I can be back for the last one. Missed the last 2 weeks representing New York, the US Touch Nationals. But good to be back, and your team's looking good. My team's looking okay. 2 trades. We'll get it 2 backs in this week, and the first 2 names on this list are high priorities for me. How are you going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad for me, man. So I was 650 ranked last week, jumped to about 600. A few things didn't go my way. The Jaden Campbell captaincy was a roller coaster, but just not having Reece Walsh in my side has been a real hit. He's been pumping out big numbers, and Cherry Evans I was thinking about as a pod for a while there, and that would have been nice as well, but I just haven't quite nailed those 90-plus guys, but have been rising up the ranks. So with 17 players this week and a loophole on the edge of my bench, I've got a Munster Galvin loophole for the 17th man. I'm feeling like I should rise up the ranks this week, and 1 trade left too. Now, most people, they've got Karaz, right? So Drinkwater as well. A lot of people do need outside backs, and today's episode is very focused around that. You are in a position where you need 2 outside backs. I need to bring 1 in. I'm flexible for wing, fullback, and center. Are you in the same boat?
Yeah, I've got Turbo in there, who's been quietly pretty good after round 15 odd this year. Look, can I just say, with these guys who are popping off like Reece Walsh and Turbo, etc., at the back end of the year, they were done and dusted halfway through the year, right? And maybe it means Kellen Ponga comes back next year and carves up to if he's even in NRL anymore. But look, I think flexible. So let's run the show, and hopefully I can get a couple of good buys in this week.
Let's tear in. So first one, Herbie Farmworth, a big shout here, 842K. We know what Herbie can do, right? The numbers for Herbie were fantastic this year. But the big thing is whether he needs to play. That's the big one, right? So with Herbie Farmworth, you're looking at, I'm just getting the ladder up here. You got the Roosters in 8th place on 30 points. The Dolphins are in 9th place on 28 points. The Roosters play on Friday night. The Dolphins play on Saturday, I believe. So if the Roosters win, Herbie Farmworth most likely doesn't play. If they lose, then he almost certainly will play because they'll have a chance to make the finals. So for the Dolphins here, they've got a must-win game against Canberra. But if the Roosters beat the Rabbitohs, which they are favoured to do, then Herbie won't play. So if someone's buying Herbie Farmworth, I love it. I think it's a great move this week. Look, obviously the injury is not ideal, but he's the best player in fantasy that's available for most teams right now. And you probably want to be doing, a trade with Scott Drinkwater, for example, or even someone who plays after that Roosters game, right? Because you need to keep yourself flexible there. Because I know you're looking at 2 guys here. You're selling Drinkwater and Karaz. Is Herbie on your radar right now?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Like, it's perfect, like a Drinkwater to Herbie trade. What I love about Farnworth is, he's had a track record this season. He was the best center all year, 60-plus average, ridiculous numbers. And he's coming up against a Raiders side who's rested most of the team this week as well, which could be a very enticing option. Negatives is you've already outlined one. I mean, even if he does play, how fit is he? With hamstrings, we've seen reoccurrences frequently. These soft tissue injuries, if you get rushed back, I mean, they are going to rush him back if a top 8 spot is on the line. Could he get through the game? Touch wood, if he plays, he does, and great boon for the Dolphins. But look, if they come out and say he's fully fit and he is playing, then I think the Drinkwater to Herbie trade would be a great pod at this time of the year. So definitely on my radar. I know Keeney is on your radar. He's come back looking pretty fit. So walk us through the logic behind this one.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to sell Drinkwater. I've got Drinkwater, Tarpanay, and Karaz all not playing this week. I've got 1 trade left. So I'll sell Drinkwater. He's the highest price guy out of those guys. And, Tarpanay plays quite late. So the loophole works. But for me, Keeney up against the Tigers in this game. Look, Tigers and the Titans is often not a shootout. We expect it to be, but it often isn't. With Keanu Keeney at 414K and just being a super, super pod, I just like him as a guy who could potentially have massive upside in this game. So last week we saw him come out and play 30 minutes off the bench. In that 30 minutes, he cracked the 100 meters run. In the previous weeks before that, it was sub 20 minutes for him, around that 20-minute mark. He was pumping out about 60 meters a game as well. So he's running the ball a bunch. The Titans are a team that can score points. They put on 30 last week, for example, in a loss. So I'm seeing Keanu Keeney as a guy who could be fun at that wing fullback spot. Now, there's a lot of guys in this range. You can talk about Kale Ero. We'll talk about, Dylan Edwards, these guys as well. I just think Keanu Keeney is a guy who's really looking to tear in. He's looked hungry when he's come on the field off the bench. And for someone like yourself, Beers, with 2 trades, if you're selling Drinkwater and Carraz and you're going to Herbie Farmworth, you probably do need to go to a cheaper guy. So that's why I put these 2 up here. For you, it could be the perfect combination.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I will say that your track record having Keeney in your team is not very good. I frankly remember that he has about a 20 average when he's in your team and about an 80 average when he's not. So I'm not sure how this will go for you, but hopefully it's it's a good roll of dice. And I think he looks good, and he's a fullback of the future. And we saw last year, as I was hinting, this is a guy who does have a 80+ score in him. Like, he can go big, and this is the matchup to do it. So I don't mind that buy at all. But yeah, there's a couple of good names you mentioned there as well, like Dylan Edwards, etc., coming up against a very decimated Dragons. There's quite a few options at the backs this week. You really have to roll the dice on who you think. This is a 1-game sprint. You don't have to worry about any scores after this. This week only, who do you think is getting the highest score? If you've got the money, it doesn't matter. If you've got 800K banked and Keeney at 400K is the best option, then leave 400K spare in the bank. Just go for the highest score. Don't have to use your money just because it's there. And I think Keeney is a great option this week for the reasons you outlined. I think they'll look to finish Des Hasler's time at the Titans on a positive note, and they'll play hard for him. And hopefully Keeney goes out with a bang.
Yeah, I could see it happening 100%. Now, rolling through, these ones are pretty straightforward. So those first 2, everyone's looking for backs. We'll go a bit quicker on these guys. Koloamatangi. We talked about Koloamatangi a bunch previously. It's high risk, high reward a bit here with Koloamatangi. So that matchup against the Roosters, the Rabbitohs will definitely rev up for that one. They're going to try and beat the Roosters and knock them out of the finals contention. But I think for Koloamatangi, he's going to be playing at prop. Hopefully plays big minutes. The risk is that Cam Murray is on the bench, so he could steal some minutes off Koloamatangi. But I could see him as a pretty safe option here. And he should go, around that 50 to 55 points. He's a guy who has potential for 60+. Really, it's pretty straightforward there. Do you have anything to add on Koloamatangi, or do you want to jump down to Tino?
The only thing is that this is, even though it's a dead weight game for the Rabbits, they hate the Roosters. So they would love nothing more to stop them making the finals. So I can see this is why they're rushing Cam Murray back in, right? They want to stop the Roosters. So yeah, I can see a game where Colo still plays big minutes and goes hard. But that's the only thing I have to add there.
Do you want to hear something crazy with Tino here? Only 7% of top 1,000 coaches have Tino in their side. So when I was putting this together, because I was thinking, we talked about Tino so much. Everyone's already got Tino now. Like, he was such value. 7% of top 1,000 coaches have Tino. He's a mammoth pod at the moment still. So if you don't have Tino yet, you're not actually too late right now. 587K. I think he's one of the best buys on this list. Do you want to throw anything in here on Tino, or do you want to jump straight to Cherry Evans, Biz?
I mean, I held Tino for his 3-4 week injury, so he's in my team, but he's looked really good. He's playing about 55, 60 minutes, and he's scoring big points, so he's a good option in your mids. But we'll keep rolling. There's like a lot of good options this week.
Yeah. Now, Cherry Evans, mate, he's your kind of guy, Biz. So I'll throw to you. Do you think that Cherry, in his final game here, playing on Friday night, so he's playing blind, they technically have a chance at the finals, mathematically. So they'll be playing before the Roosters and before the Dolphins. So they have it all to play for. They need to run up a big score to be any chance here. Do you think Cherry Evans on the back of back-to-back 90s is a possible candidate up against the Warriors to bring in and maybe potentially captain?
Yeah, 100%. I love Cherry Evans, and I don't know if it's just in my mind, but he historically always ends the season with a bang. I'm pretty sure he ended last season with a couple of hundreds as well. So I think with the Golke and Garrick gone, and just his farewell game for Manly, regular season game. So I think he's due for another big score. I wish I needed a half this week. I'm pretty handcuffed by needing 2 backs, but I would love Cherry Evans. I think he'll go 90+ again. I think this is the game where he'll do everything. Like, every run will be a crab with like tackle breaks and offloads and a couple of assists. I reckon he's definitely scoring a try or two. Manly are looking really good at this time of year, and Warriors not looking so great. Maybe they'll bounce back after the loss against the Eels, but I'm loving Cherry Evans. Look, this whole list is great. Like, this is such a fun list of players in your team too. But Cherry Evans at the top of my list if you need a half, 100%.
I'm going to throw some numbers at you because you mentioned finishing strong. I just want to check out the actual numbers here. So 2018, round 24, he had 109. 2019 wasn't super noteworthy. That's a while ago, though, so we'll write that off. 2020, pretty strong finish, but he didn't play the last few games. 2021, finished with an 81, a 93, and then 113 in his last 3 games. 2022, he finished with a 67. 2023, he finished with these 4 games: 88, 68, 106, and then 98. And then 2024, I'll throw in there as well. Actually, no, I'll go 2025 this year. He's going 93 and 92. So, yeah, he finishes hot. It's not in your head at all. He is an absolute monster down the stretch. Yeah, I'm the same as you, though. I wish I'd have needed a half, but unfortunately, I don't. Now, ripping the cheapies super quick. And really what I wanted to look for here was cheapies that you could potentially play this week and add value. If you're going for Herbie Farmworth and you wanted to balance it out with some cheaper options, we'll go super fast on these guys. Dylan Brown playing at 6 for Parramatta, up against Newcastle, playing at home. Parra in great form. He's playing on the edge with Jack Williams, who is an absolute demon right now as well. So at 405K, Dylan Brown could potentially reignite some of that form. I'd say he's going to want to rock up and play some good footy because it's his last game at Parramatta. It's his last time playing in a team who could potentially play finals. And for him, it's a farewell. Plus, a hello to his team for next year, who, he'll probably want to, sort of show them that he can play some footy. So I could see him popping off in this one.
Yeah, a 405K. I think he'll go for a 60-plus score this week on the back of everything you said. It's a great option to counterbalance the more expensive play.
Now, Jermaine Asako, you having love for this up against that Canberra side resting most of their starters?
Again, yeah, it's a 400K buy who could go for a 50, 60-plus score. I think, he could score 2-3 tries this game. And the thing is, they do have a still pretty strong backline. So backline players that not named Herbie Farnworth might still not be surefire bets. Like, they've got Tamale back and they've got Seb, Chris, etc. playing. But yeah, 39 and 2K, he's not a bad option. I'd take Dylan Brown over the top, but if you need a wing fullback, then Isako is not a bad option at 392.
Yeah, if you want someone mad here. Billy Burns scored about 60 last week, won me a draft final. I bought him in. I had him and Chris Randall dominating down the stretch for me, and Moeni Hiroti and all these guys. So my draft team was disgusting. But Billy Burns got it done. He's playing 80 minutes. The Sharks are pretty good. Up against the Dogs, should be okay. Sam Healy. Beers, I'll just blast through these guys and let me know if I'll let you handle Pierre Kura at the end. But Sam Healy, 321K. Wade Egan's obviously out this week. They've got Tamari Martin on the bench. So my expectation is Healy plays about 60 minutes in this one. He's shown attacking capability, and he's shown that he has the ability to, churn up pretty decent defensive stats as well. Up against Manly, I'd expect that the Warriors are really trying to get a win heading into the finals here, and Healy should be pretty good. And then Brendan Piakura, obviously he's going to be back next year as the mascot. Do you think he sends off the year with a bang, or what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, look, he didn't graduate up 500 or 550K mark that we set him to graduate our academy. In fact, I think he lost another 100 or 200K since we spoke about it. But
he showed glimpses though, man.
Every time he did. Every time he showed a glimpse, he just found a way to bog back down. And it's not his fault. Like, he had a couple of bad injuries when he was, a couple of bad concussions when he was really on the way up. But look, Brendan Piakura, thank you for being a part of the school this year, and we'll see you when class is in session next year. Sadly, I cannot, like I said, trade in an edge. If I did, it would be Piakura just for the memories. But see you back at school next year.
Yeah, he'll be back. We'll also add someone else to the list too. So we'll find another one. And unfortunately, we add one each year. So we're now going to be stacking up mascots for next year. Now, the pod list, this is pretty outrageous, but I've got a couple of guys coming back into form and then some outside backs to talk about here too. So May Nicholson, first one. I'm going to go super quick on this one because he's back for Canberra. He has shown that he can dominate. And we've seen on that edge that he's going to be playing on that Chris Randall last week made them look silly. Set up a try, grab some attacking stats and big defensive stats there too. I think Manny Nicholson could step in and be solid as well. The risk is he comes back from injury in a game where Canberra are resting guys. Why would he play 80 minutes? That's the downside there. So I'm getting asked about Nicholson quite a bit. It's a very risky option, but it is one that has shown that he can hit that big upside as well.
I will only add to Nicholson that he'll want to show that he belongs in that team for their finals run. Like he'll want to press for that edge back row spot. But again, hard to see him playing 80 minutes. But he's shown he can score tries, so might not need 80 minutes.
Big time, man. Now, Mitch Moses, 521K, pumped out about 60 last week, up against Newcastle this week. We've seen Moses destroy Newcastle in the past, Biz. Do you think this is a game where he could pop off?
Yeah, it's trending up. I think he'll actually defer to Dylan Brown a bit more than he usually does, just given what we talked about. But I think, look, it's hard. Like, it's hard to go against Cherry Evans, but if you need to buy a half at this 500K range, then I think Mitch Moses is a good bet. It should be a good track, and then watch for Moses to try and carve up for his mate Dylan Brown. But yeah, I can't believe it's 520K. He's actually looked like he's been playing pretty well in real life, but just not translating fantasy this year.
Yeah, last couple of weeks it's hit form, but yeah, you're right. It's been a couple of weeks of really, really poor fantasy numbers. Now, 3 guys here. We're going for ceiling and we're going for matchups here. So the Hammer, Brad and Best, Zach Lomax. Now, I'll give a bit of a brief and then I want to know, Biz, who you lean towards most. But for the Hammer, the upside here is if the Roosters lose their game, Herbie Farnworth comes back in. Hamiso is quite likely to move back into the fullback role, even though Trey Fuller has been great, right? Because that's their full strength configuration. That's what they do at full strength, and they're up against a Canberra side who probably should leak some points to the Dolphins. So it could be a game where Hammer scores 3 or 4 tries and really dominates. So that's the case for him. Bradman Best, he's shown that he can go 100 plus before. That's really the reason he's on this list. And individually, he's been in pretty good form lately as well. And then Zach Lomax, I've got him here, even though he's been in pretty poor fantasy form lately, because he's up against Greg Marzu, because Para's spine is back intact. You know, it's sort of full strength, and Moses is firing, and it's the original spine. And I think Lomax could score a few tries jumping over Greg Marzu. So they're 3 guys I'm looking at here. If someone wants a really outrageous sort of outside back, there's some options. Who jumps out to you, Biz?
Yeah, I do like Zach Lomax in this game. One, he should be able to jump over Marzu in aerial contests, but Marzu is an explosive attacking player, not so much in defense. So I can see them trying, Lomax getting around him for a couple of tries as well. I think, honestly, it's going to be a bit of a shootout game. I can neither Knights and Eels are going to play gritty in this last game of the year. They'll, at least Parramatta, surely they'll try and put on a show at home last week of the year. I think Lomax is a good bet for sure. But then, honestly, this one's a coin, like a 3-headed coin flip for all 3, because these are all 3 players who can score 100 plus on their day. Best has a bit of form. He didn't score that well last week, but I think he had a big score the last 2 or 3 weeks. But I think Lomax is the one I'm most excited about out of these 3.
Yeah, I'm eyeing him off big time. Also, being down at the game, I wouldn't mind just watching him live and having a para play to root for. So
that's right.
That's what
a para play that's not Talon De Silva and his 5 points. Yeah.
Oh, well, 2 points last week. But Yongi is another one who could be spicy at 525K in a bit of form.
Yeah.
I just don't think Yongi has that 90 plus ceiling that these guys do just yet. So I'm more swinging towards these guys. Now, rolling through a bit of a quicker episode this week. And we said we were going to be quick, and this time we actually have been. The holds and the sells. So for holds here, really it's green dots, right? And I want to talk about Cleary and Hughes in a sec too. But Wishart is playing off the bench this week. He plays that first game of the round. The only reason I've got him in holds is just really to recommend to people, chuck him in your loophole. That's about it. I chuck him in your loophole. Maybe he comes on for more minutes. Maybe he scores a few tries down the stretch. We don't know what's going to happen there. So you might as well chuck him in a loophole because you're going to have a few red dots to deal with there rather than selling him and keeping a red dot instead.
That's right. I mean, I feel like this whole list is, if you've got trades left, there are probably better players to trade than a lot of these guys. But a lot of these might just be forced holds because you don't have trades left. So either or, they're holds. Connor Watson is another one. He's a hold for me. I would have loved to sell him, but I got other more expensive red dots this week that I'll sell. Look, he keeps getting named at 9, but never actually plays 9. He's lost 25 minutes to Beniolu, for the last 5 weeks straight, except the game where he had to fill in at the 6th spot. Look, Connor Watson, we all thought he would come back and end the season with a plumb. I didn't expect this 55-minute role for him. But, hey, he's a guy that has scored 60-plus in 60 minutes before, so could be a loophole option. Roosters play middle of the round, and it's a big game for them, so you never know. Could happen for him. But I wouldn't be in – if you had the personnel, he wouldn't be in my 17. He's another loophole option for me.
Yeah, he's my worst player by far. He's my only hooker. So I'll just not having Clark has really been painful. But look, Clark's sort of fallen off a bit too. Now, Nathan Cleary, Jarom Hughes, just want to mention these guys here. So Cleary, obviously, they rested players last week. They have Schneider on the bench. I'm more putting him here just to say I don't think he's a captain option this week. And I love the St. George matchup for him and Yo. I love it. I just don't think he plays 80 minutes. That's my feel there. And Jarom Hughes, they've got Wishart on the bench as well. Jarom Hughes coming back from injury. They'll give someone a rest between Munster and Hughes. My suspicion is Hughes coming back from injury is probably the one that gets a rest, but open to your thoughts here.
Yeah, I think Hughes is unlikely to get a rest because they're going to want to get some game fitness into him. And Bellamy already minutes. Yeah, I reckon at least 65, 70 minutes because this is a big game, right? Like this is one of their potential finals opponents. And Bellamy already came out and said he's happy that he can bring him back in the last season of the round rather than the finals. And he's been out for quite a long time. And you need match fitness coming into finals because finals games are high fitness, defensive games, and they'll want to get some minutes through his legs. I don't think he's playing 80 minutes, but I don't see why he'll play any less than 70. So if you held him, then just keep him because it just looks silly to have held him this long.
What about a pod? What about as a pod? Would you buy him?
As a pod? No, I think this is a tricky. I think it's not the best matchup, and I think at 711k, like I'd rather pick up a DC or something like that.
Yeah, I think the Broncos win this game. By the way, I reckon they beat the Storm and
yeah, they've got a recovery water in their blood, you know.
The toilet water. Last one here, Latu Fainu. I just had to mention him and give him some credit. Came back into the starting side last week and was pretty good. Scored 46. So if you got him in your team, you're hanging on.
I know we're rushing through this, but it's surprising to see that he dominated the kick meters versus Jerome Luai there. I mean, it's something strange because Luai has a pretty good kicking game, so I don't know why they don't use his boot more often. He seems to concede a lot of kick meters to his partner. Maybe he just prefers to just run the running game, but yeah, side note from me.
Just a strange team, the Tigers, aren't they? Now, sells, pretty straightforward here. Red dots. If you got a red dot, sell them. If one trade left, sell the most expensive red dot you have. It's that simple, right? I'm trying to sell guys.
I will say on the only flip side is if you've got multiple players and you don't need the money and your red dot is a drink water, for example, would you say it's worth keeping drink water as your red dot because it's the most flexible loop option versus some others?
Yes. But a lot of the red dots this week are guys who play late anyway.
Yep.
So like a lot of people have Tarpanay, Fogarty.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think of the guys that are out this week. Most of them are
Kiraz.
Kiraz. I think Dogs play late as well.
He's man, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. You got to look at your loophole flexibility 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Dogs play late on Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep yourself flexible. And I guess the other thing I wanted to say was thanks everyone for the memories this year. Thank you, Biz. Memories this year as well. I'll be seeing you in person relatively soon. Over in America. So take you out for a nice dinner as a thank you for jumping on in the morning every day.
No, I love it. Hey, look, it's NFL fantasy season now. I'm recording this at 5 a.m. New York time because I got my home draft at 6 a.m. With all the Australian players I play with. So, hey, for those who are, obviously, if you're still tuning in this time of the year, thanks for joining us. And it's great to see the channel has grown significantly this year. Maybe it's all of Longy's graphic design and all this cool like video effects and things like that really paying off. But we keep doing it because the fan support every week. It's always great to read the comments, which I know Longy tries to reply to all of them, me as well. If you're still here, leave us a comment, say Piacora Dunce, see you next year or something like that. I don't know, just post about your favorite moment of the podcast this year in the comments. And look, if you're into NFL fantasy, let us know. We're always keen to talk NFL fantasy. Longy's trying to fleece me on trades every day. I get BS trade offers from him every hour. But we love it, and can't wait to be back next year.
Yeah, and just on NFL fantasy there too. We've run a few leagues, a few casual athlete leagues in the Discord, a couple of cash leagues, some free leagues as well. A lot of first time players. So we're ripping into those. If anyone from Sleeper is watching, hit us up because we love the app. But Biz, I think those dynasty trades I've been put through to you, pretty fair, I would say.
Yeah.
But no, look, appreciate you, and look, like you said, everyone watching along, and there's some names I think of when we look at who's really been engaged and leaving great comments, and getting involved and making their own predictions. I always love seeing everyone's predictions on here, and I love coming back to them later and sort of seeing, just shouting out that person, being like, "Hey, you actually nailed that one," or giving them a bit of crap if they got one wrong too. So, mate, been a cracker of a year. Let's finish strong. We'll do a little bit of a. You know what I was actually thinking, Biz? We should do not an award show, sorry, a lessons show, and we record the lessons we learned this year. We post the video next year in the preseason.
Yeah, that's a great idea. My first lesson, we don't buy Jack Bird. That was my biggest failure for the year, I reckon. I've had quite a few, but that one might have been my worst. But look, that's a great idea, honestly, because sometimes I always take notes on things I did wrong in one year, and I look at them when I make a team next year. I usually fall into the same traps year in year, but it's still fun to pretend like you're learning. But great season from you, Longy, and I've had a great time. And look, can't wait for our preseason content. We'll be back with even more than ever, with the channel growing so much. And maybe see you in Vegas for round 1 next year. I don't know. Let's see.
There's a bit in the works. Actually, might be swinging across. If I go, will you go?
Mate, if you go, I'll go. Done.
Done. All right. We might be doing some content from Vegas. How good would that be? Look, cheers, Biz. Cheers, everyone, for jumping on. Good luck in this final week. Let us know in the comments, too, how many players you have left and what trades you're making, if any, this week. Or if you have 0 trades, just do a sad face in the comments. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Biz. Thank you, everyone. And good luck this week. Peace out.